We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Anthony Weaver and the Miami Dolphins defense. Sort of what he did schematically and how the players, really executed to a high level, made plays. This was one of their better games of the season, defense-wise. I think it's, obviously not going against the greatest offense, but the Patriots, with Drake May, have been more and more successful, and the Dolphins really only held them to one score offensively, and it came on like a 4th and 15 that was just a broken coverage. The rest of the game, they locked it down. They dominated up front. They won with twists and stunts. They got pressures. I think on the backside, they did a good job in coverage, like distributing, locking things down, whether they're playing man, zone. A few times Drake May escaped the pocket, made a couple plays, but other than that, it was pretty solid across the board. Didn't give up too much running the ball. I mean, they built a lead, which is nice. I think this Packers game next is huge for them. Like, really, really important because the Packers are a very good offensive team. And then you got, the past few weeks, they've been doing it. Since the Bills game, I would say, they did really good versus the Rams defensively. The Raiders game wasn't perfect. They, but didn't give up a ton of points. So, like, it wasn't the best game from them as a unit. But it was still, like, overall not a horrible day. And then they dominated this Patriots game. So the Packer game is going to be the huge test. They did what they needed to. I also think it's, like, a nice growth moment. Because if you look at their first New England game, the Patriots offense was playing worse at that time. They had Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. The Dolphins came out and executed and did a good job in that game. But they did even better in this game when the Patriots were offense playing at a higher level. And I thought they even played better overall in this matchup, created turnovers. It was pretty, good to watch. I think the turnover part of the game is really somewhere the defense needed to step up. I think just having guys back like Sealer. One, you get Sealer on a backside of a run where he's aligned as a 3-tech here, and this tackle has to cut him off, and he feels the puller. Sealer's going to shoot this gap. Sealer dominated this game. Look at him shoot this gap up field, and then look at everyone else just get involved. Chop wins his battle versus the tight end. I believe that's Holland who's come into fit too. They all just absolutely blow this play up. Force Stevenson to try to break this and bounce it even more, and then Brooks fills and makes a tackle for loss. They came out and were just playing hard. Big testament. If they can stop the run next week versus Green Bay, because I think that's the key to success for the Dolphins defense this game is Green Bay is really good with their run scheme and getting guys out-gapped and, winning the leverage battle and getting good runs. If they can force it into a Jordan Love's hands where, you force him to make his aggressive throws, I'd rather win and lose that way, whether it goes to don't win or lose, because he can win games that way, but that's kind of usually how they lose games is when he makes too many mistakes. So I'd rather force it into his hands. They did a good job, I think, with pressures, isolating. Here, they're showing a bunch of pressure up front. End up bringing 5. They drop back. They have Ramsey playing the slot. They rotate into a single high. Looks like they're playing a third, but Kohu's isolated on the backside, 1-on-1. With this look, you get them to slide their protection to the left, which gets Chop a true 1-on-1. So Chop is able to win very quickly. He was dominating that right tackle 1-on-1s. And also, with the stunt work, you got Quentin Bell unlocked with, the TE stun. You get the tackle working around, or the end working around as the loop guide, and gets Quentin Bell a free lane. And it just forces May to chuck it down the field. Getting very quick pressures against that offensive line is definitely what you need to see. And I think it's just when the coverage is sort of combined with the upfront pressure, the Dolphins defense just plays at such a high level. And it's just little things like this. This is obviously just a dominant Chop when he wins it against a double team. But also just looking on the back and how they disguise coverage. Look how this ends up working. They're showing a too high split field look. Holland, right before the snap, goes back like he's going to go deep. And look where Ramsey's aligned. Ramsey's in, he's playing down in the box. Looks like he might even, potentially be a delayed blitz. He drops back to be the deep field safety. And then Holland and, I believe, Poyer, they both come down and buzz and play as the hooks. So this somehow turns into cover 3 with this guy becoming the middle of the field defender. And you can ask players to do this because Ramsey has the versatility to play this and also the range to get back there, disguise it. It's also a 3rd and long situation. Love all these different nuances that they're playing there back, in coverage, that type of thing. Different pressure looks. They'll bring pressure. They get free blitzers and just throwing things off. Even they blitz probably gets completed here. They leave Douglas open. They try to bring Sealer back, but even just bringing this pressure, it forces it should have been completed, but then the Patriots don't communicate here, but it puts them in the situation where if the quarterback and the receiver have to be on the same page or it falls into an incompletion. They made the right choice. Blitz, they actually picked it up fairly well. It's just they didn't execute in this situation. But I love all the different looks. It just puts a lot of stress on the offense to make plays. Here's Chop almost getting another uses speed to power. I broke down Chop already, so I'm not going to focus on him too much, but he's using speed to power. A little hesitation, gets up there. Love that he's just winning his one-on-ones. Also on the back end, looks like they're going to show single high with Poyer in the middle of the field. They rotate to 2 high, and Kohu becomes the other deep half from the nickel. So they love to drop their nickel into a deep half. Usually that's 2 safeties, and then they're playing cover 2 in this situation. They love to play like Tampa 2 as well, where this time they have Holland playing as like the Mike in Tampa 2, which I like. I like having Holland be more involved because Holland can play on the back end and be fine, but I feel like he's just not as impactful there, and sometimes he does make mistakes, I feel, on the deep end. But allowing him to play here allows him to get matched up more on like the tight ends and the slot receivers and take away, and be just more involved in the play, be more active, and I think that's more helpful because teams have really attacked the middle of the field. Like here's another example. Tampa 2, they rotate into 2 high. They show potential single high that rotate 2 high. Holland also becomes the Mike Tampa 2 again. They have everything covered up. They get a fairly quick pressure. I think one of the problems is May is just able to escape the pocket and make a play off script. This is somewhere they've struggled. But like the start of this play, the call, the execution initially, it's all good. There's no just like easy option down the field. Like he could have taken checkdowns, but May makes a play with his legs, and then they late find Kendrick Bourne. Ramsey, like you look at Ramsey's closing speed though, he almost makes an insane play here to close on May. Gets a clean hit on him. But yeah, just sort of how they've been doing things. I love this. This was like a 2nd and 1 run, I believe. I love getting Ramsey in the box. I love playing him as like the nickel. He can play as your overhang. Get him involved in the run fits. And then also, Sealer's just absolutely dominant. Like this right tackle. He understands, like he's in this 3-tech. This right tackle is going to try to cut him off. He has just such a good feel for this stuff. This guy gets overextended. He's already prepared for this to just boom, toss him, arm over, and then win. And then him and Ramsey are able to come in unblocked and meet that for a -1 yard loss. Really, really impressed with how those guys are playing. They're the 2 of the best players on the team. Get pressure up the middle. They show different pressures here. So like this is what they're doing. They show 3 on each side, but the running back is over here. So you can know Patriots, especially because this guy's closer. The Patriots are probably going to slide the protection to the right, which they do. So the Dolphins end up dropping Chop into coverage. They still drop. They actually drop Agba. They drop both edges. So it still ends up being 4 brought, but they work like a stunt with the linebackers. Brooks is able to get through. It gets Sealer a one-on-one where he's able to work with a lot of space to the inside because Brooks hard commits in here. So Sealer wins so fast, and then he creates the fumble. Chop also drops into throwing lanes. Everyone kind of distributes routes well on the back end. They had Bourne open on Ramsey, but Sealer just wins so quickly, and then Brooks is able to pick up the fumble. Another turnover. Very, very impressed with what they are doing in those situations. And it's just the nickel blitzes with the linebackers. And they don't always have to show pressure. Because like here, it's a pretty normal looking play. You got the split field look. Looks like it. Like if you looked at this pre-snap, you'd be like, oh, this is probably going to be just your basic cover 6. You bring 4. These 4 up front. These guys drop. He'll be flat to this side. They'll play quarters up here. There'll be the 2 hooks. He'll be a flat defender, deep half, quarter. But then they end up, rotating this into more of like a cover 3 where he plays as like a robber type situation. And down front, they drop Agba into coverage, still bring these 3, and then you bring Ramsey and Dodson a little bit late, and they get free blitzes. As long as they don't have a quick option to the right here, which they don't, you're going to get Ramsey and Dodson to the quarterback. And I feel like Ramsey, since the Kyler Murray thing, because Kyler Murray did a great job avoiding the free blitzers, I feel like since then, Ramsey's done a better job staying disciplined. Like, he'll put his hands up, but doesn't just, like, jump immediately, because he knows May's athletic, and May's good at avoiding pressure, but he does a good job, better with the angles, rush discipline, and making those tackles in that situation, and that was a big sack. This one was, like, the only real negative play of the game for the defense. One, they probably could have even called holding here on Chop. Like, Chop potentially gets held there. May just escapes. And the real problem here is the back end. So, right here, once this guy gets open late. So, once May escapes the pocket, like, they're playing zone, but Kohu's kind of squeezing this. And then it looks like, Holland is, like, playing as a deep quarter. But Holland sees this guy running late, so he kind of thinks, oh, I should shoot down here for him too. But Dotson also kind of shoots down for him. To me, Kohu and Dotson run into each other, which was an accident on this play. Ko should have been sticking with him, just because when it becomes scramble drill, it turns into man-to-man. Even though this is your zone, like, they could have passed this off as well, like Ko pass this off, find number 9, Dotson take him, carry him. Holland has to stay deep. I feel like this is kind of on Holland. Holland has had a problem with this in the past. When they escape the pocket, he kind of gets too aggressive, like thinks, I got to break on 9, but then 81, I believe that was Hooper, just escapes deep, wide open, and they get a touchdown. So sometimes in scramble drill, they get a little out of sorts, and that's something they got to work on. But just jumping stuff. I thought Storm Duck played another good game. He feels like feels comfortable. He's ready to jump stuff. Almost gets the interception there on this throw. Dolphins bring another variation of their blitzes. They slant their whole D-line to the left here. They bring a late blitzing linebacker. May throws it out quickly. They rotate, into a cover 3, aggressive corners, things like that. Just fun. And then they get a 4th down look. Dolphins in cover 2. They try to hit the corner route. Holland does a good job, I think, squeezing the throwing lane, and it forces May to put it really high and away to where it's almost impossible to catch. And they had to get, they only brought 3. I think May probably should have held on to this ball, but they covered up the quick options near the sticks, like Calais is dropping, Ramsey's over the middle. They took away pretty much those quick passes, and then, doesn't end up going anywhere. Good job on the back end here. I like this work because clearly Dolphins are in cover 2. These guys are playing deep half. But Duck realizes with how he plays this in their alignment, he lets this guy, he tries to get hands-on, but this guy gets an outside release on him. So Duck, who is a flat defender here, is probably supposed to, get out to Douglas and stay in this lane and kind of leverage both of these. But since he knows, the Patriots are pressing, they need to get big plays, they're down a lot, and Duck, with the tight alignment and quick outside release, he knows he has to carry this. Because if he doesn't carry this immediately and sticks on Douglas, it's too, he didn't do enough to the receiver for Holland to get over there and make a play. So he has to, carry it and then make the throw be thrown with a little more, higher up in the air, be a perfect throw, and allows Holland to get over there, and they just both, get in the right position and make a play. So seeing that sort of just smart football play. Everything else was covered up as well from Duck in that situation. And here's another example, getting the free blitzer from the nickel. I love having Ramsey do this because Ramsey's so good in these situations, and he doesn't have to be on the line. Usually you can tell when someone's blitzing, they creep up. Ramsey doesn't even have to do that. He times everything perfectly. Sometimes he can be super far off. It just gets him a free lane. Things, Holland comes down to help take a super quick option away. Now see May, and he also breaks down and sees May's gonna try to escape the pocket. Then he tries to get up, tip the ball, and then Tyrell Dotson makes the one-handed pick. And everything else was covered up fairly quickly. You just want to put stress on these quarterbacks. Different looks. Another example of you still only bringing 4 and getting a free blitzer. They slide their protection to the right. They bring the blitzer, off the offensive line's left. Jordan Brooks, this O-lineman realizes he's got to take the innermost guy. It gets Quentin Bell free. They try to replace it with the hot. And I love having Holland play downhill. Let him play as the flat defender, the buzz defender. He identifies this. He shows closing speed. He's able to make a tackle. I feel like Holland just looks better in those situations and is more impactful. And he's clearly your best safety still. The rest of the safety unit's not very good. And this is sort of this last play. You get stop on the 4th down. Good hustle. Get out there. Tyus Bowser, Kohu, Duck, Ramsey, all there to, kind of force him to the inside, make tackle, don't allow him to get the first down. Dolphins defense played amazing, which was, I think it was expected for the defense to play well, but it wasn't the Patriots offense has just been horrible with May, but they made him look pretty much non-existent for the whole game until the end when they had that one lucky play on it was a 4th and 15 as well. And it wasn't the Patriots were scoring offensively and moving the ball well versus the Rams. They still lost, and they were moving the ball and, they beat the Bears. It's not even though they're a horrible, not a good team, they're still doing some good things versus other teams. So Dolphins doing this, I still think is a good sign. Now, I still want to see it versus the very good competition. As long as the defense looks pretty competitive versus the Packers. I want both sides to be pretty competitive. Obviously, pull out a win, but I think being competitive obviously gives you a nice chance of winning. So, if you guys know the video, make sure to comment and subscribe. Let's get done.